I've said it before. Recruitment is vital for success on the football pitch. It's bringing in the players that allow you to elevate the game, and especially when you go up the levels into the Champions League, your recruitment of players is crucial, because especially in the big clubs, if you don't get it right, you have very little chance to put it right. If you don't bring in a player that fits your style and is suitable for the football that you want to play, to improve that player when there's very little training time is very difficult. And that's why you want to get the not just a player in, but get the right player in that can bring your game and elevate the team's game, and he's at a sufficient level that then allows you to improve him, clearly. But that's absolutely key. So I'm hoping, I've said before, I'm looking at by the end of the window, and that is when you can judge it. And I know it's for supporters, and they want to see that team on the pitch. Absolutely right. And as coaches and managers, we want to have the players in as quick as we can to get them integrated into the squad, all that. But at the end of it, if we can get to the end of August and have a stronger squad than what we finished last season, it will still be a successful window for us.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Celtic Forever podcast, where we're going to go through the preview of Hibs against Celtic on Sunday. Celtic sitting second in the league now. The Rangers won the day, so it's a game we have to get the 3 points, obviously. Let's say hello to John. How are you today, John?
I'm good, aye, all good. No surprises there, do you?
No, no surprises. Motherwell, no very strong team, are they? I watched the last 5 minutes of that game, funny enough, John, and we'll get to that in our rivals corner a wee bit later. But Motherwell weren't up to much at all. Rangers, the same as midweek in Europe, kept passing the ball at the park. But we'll get to that in the rivals corner in about half an hour, John. Just a wee disclaimer here, John, just to let everybody know that's listening to the Celtic Forever podcast that we're not a monetised channel. We don't have any adverts, so you can relax and watch the podcast knowing that there's not going to be any interruptions with adverts, etc. on YouTube, just to let everybody know that, John. All right, John, let's get into it then. We always like to start with any news, gossip, stuff like that before we get into the preview. Last week, we were talking about the Brad Lyons tackle on Parma, if you remember, shocking tackle, the leg breaker, etc. And we both said that Lyons didn't even get booked. But just to update everybody, that Lyons did get booked for that, John. But that's not the point, is it? It was just a shocking tackle, a career-ending tackle on Parma from Brad Lyons, John. But he did get booked, John. I just thought I'd update everybody with that.
I seen it. He got booked. It was a potential career-ending tackle, or at the very least, breaking his ankle. It was a shocking tackle, and how that's not being looked at again. And that was a red card for me all day. That tackle, in anybody's eyes, that's a red card. It's just brutality. Going right in like that with a straight leg, studs shown right into his ankle, bent his foot right back so it was facing the other way. It's a red card for me all day, that.
Oh, aye. Oh, yeah, it's a 2 or 3 game ban as well, isn't it? So, and that didn't even go to the SFA, did it? He'll be playing this weekend, Brad Lyons. In fact, I think he did play in the game. So, anyway, we'll leave that there, John. Let's move on to Callum McGregor. Retired from international duty, John. He's retired from the Scotland team. That's only good news for Celtic, but he did okay for Scotland, Callum, didn't he? Seen him through to 2 Euro qualifiers as well. So McGregor can now concentrate in his career at Celtic there.
Aye. I'm glad he's retired because he's playing far too many games. I was listening to Clyde again yesterday. Apparently he'd played something like, I can't remember how many games now. My memory's terrible, honestly. But so many games in 5 seasons or whatever it was. And it's unbelievable. I mean, over 250 games in 5 seasons. 290 games or something like that. Nearly 300 games in 5 seasons. It's a hell of a lot of games for a player, But Aye, Callum retiring from Scotland. That's good news for all the Celtic fans. Maybe not such good news for Scotland fans, but it's good news for us, and that's all that matters, Andy.
Yeah, that's right, John. That's right. That's him then, John. Official. He's retired from Scotland. As you say, he's played all these games, hundreds of games in the league and the cups, and then having to go play international football as well. So he can now put that to bed, John. He's done what he had to do there, and good luck with Callum at Celtic, because he can now put his 100% concentration into Celtic winning trophies, which of course he's used to anyway, John. So that's that, John. He's retired. He's see Callum in a Scotland shirt again. Let's move on to some rumours and gossip again with these signings, John. There's still no another signing over the door, John. There's another week went by and no more players in at the club as it stands anyway. Adam Ida, Celtic have put in an improved bid. I'm not sure it was. The initial bid was 4.5 million. So I think it'd be maybe around about the 5.5 million would be the improved offer. But that one's just ongoing. Both clubs are in talks at the moment.
Aye, where was it? I read it was 7 million or something like that. Apparently, I don't know. We can go on and on about this until the signing's over the line. It's just soul destroying. This is dragged on so long, isn't it? But aye, we'll wait and see. We can only say wait and see what happens. I thought it would be within the next 2 weeks. I says that last week, so let's hope it happens this week, Xander.
Yeah, I'm hearing rumours. I know say where I heard the rumours, John, right? But if I'm hearing rumours that it's 100% going to happen. So that's what I'm going to say on that. It's going to happen. Either will sign. It's just a case of when, not if. So we'll keep our eye on it as we've been doing all summer long, John.
Well, I heard that the Norwich fans were giving him a hard time when he came on as a sub.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, that's obviously he's made himself a sort of rod for his own back down at Norwich now. I think he's even if he doesn't sign for Celtic, I think he'll be leaving Norwich anyway, John. That's the way I look at it.
Aye, well, that's the way I look at it as well. He's got to get himself out of Norwich. He's not wanted there. So the sooner the deal's done, the better. Obviously, Norwich are doing all this to spite Celtic, aren't they? They're hanging on for the best price. They don't need to sell Adam either, of course. They can do a James McCarthy, sit him in the stand. It's nothing to them, Xander.
Yeah, it's nothing to them, that's right, John. But it looks as though the clubs, both Celtic and Norwich, are in advanced talks anyway, John. So I think that's going to happen pretty soon. I know I've been wanting this to happen all summer long, and it's been gossip, rumour all summer regarding this. But the clubs are now in advanced talks. And if you're saying it's £7 million, the bid Celtic have put down, then I think it's more or less there, isn't it? Because we're only £1 million behind the asking price, so I think that's going to happen anyway, John. Right, Matt O'Reilly, John. This is a concern for me, John. He's Brighton are now in for Matt O'Reilly as well. It's all these other clubs, John. Brighton have actually, placed a bid as well. So this is not going away, is it? I think Celtic are looking for between 25 and 30 million for the player, but it's not looking good on the Matt O'Reilly front, is it?
I don't know. Again, there's nothing cast iron. So until something cast irons happen, then we can't really say much about it. We know there's a lot of clubs hovering about Matt, but I think he'll be gone by the time the transfer window closes. But I'm hoping he just makes a U-turn and decides, look, I'm still young. Celtic are a great club. I'm winning stuff here. I'm in the Champions League here. I can stay on for another season because he's still young, Xander. He's still a young guy. Was it 22? Is it? Matt O'Reilly is 22. I'm not actually sure, but early 20s anyway. He's still a young guy. He can stay at Celtic for another season, surely, Xander.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. He stays this season anyway. Get one more season out of him. But Brendan's saying he's gone nowhere. Then you're hearing reports that both clubs are in talks. Brighton and Celtic are in talks. So you don't know what to believe, John. It's just that it's that I hope doesn't happen. I know it's one that most Celtic players hope doesn't happen. But as you say, £25 million for the player, John, that money just goes right back into the bank account and doesn't get touched.
Aye, this is it. This is the Celtic way. Get the big money for the players and just keep it in the bank. Just watch the bank balance grow. Celtic's got to improve their status in Europe. Every Celtic fan wants the same. We all want to see Celtic at least competing in the Champions League group stages and getting into the last 16. That's a realistic goal for Celtic. And with the money that Celtic's got right now, and especially if they sell Mattarelli as well, then it's realistic to get into the last 16 with the money Celtic's got, Xander, because there's other teams can do it with that kind of money. So why not Celtic?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it, John. But all right, we'll leave that there because we can't really talk too much more about it, can we? We're only going to be rumours just now when it comes to players, coming in and leaving. But it's a concern, it really is, because we've got a brilliant midfield there, John, with Hatate, McGregor, Mattarelli, the three in there, just absolutely superb. And you said last week that having Hatate back fit, available for selection, playing all these games, whereas last season he was out most of the season. And you saw that in the team last season, John, with Hatate out injured. And and you're seeing the best of the midfield now that all three are fit.
Aye, but we've both said that Celtic's full team is fit. There's no team in the league's going to stop us winning the league. No team. And look, Mattarelli, if you look at Mattarelli's performances, he doesn't look like he's not playing like a player that's got a lot of speculation surrounding him, is he? He's playing out his skin. He's playing fantastic. Doesn't bode well for us, actually, other clubs looking at him playing like that still, even though there's all this speculation surrounding Matt. And he's still playing well. He's not let it get to him. He's a top professional, Xander. If you look at the performances he's putting in through the pre-season friendlies against the English teams and that, he was outstanding, and he was outstanding against Kilmarnock as well at the weekend. We are not a man of the match performance, but a typical Mattarelli performance. Very, very silky, very skillful, very composed. Aye, he's just a top player, and I just hope we can hold on to him. I'd rather have Matt than the money, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. All right, John, let's leave that there. That's your rumours, gossip, etc. Let's move on to some other stuff that I wanted to quickly touch on. Ayr United 5, Airdrie 0. A brilliant result for Scott Brown again, John. That's 2 weeks in a row. Scott Brown's flying at Ayr United.
He's absolutely flying. I watched that game last night. It was a good game to watch. Plenty of goals. Good result for Scott Brown's there. But obviously that Airdrie team, I think they're quite a good team. But who was it I watched Airdrie playing? Was it Aberdeen Airdrie played against, Sander, in the Cup?
Yeah, Aberdeen Day. That's right. Yeah.
They were really good. But last night you would think Ayr were a Premier League side the way they were playing. They totally outclassed Airdrie. I know we're not here to talk about them, but Scott Brown, we all love Scott Brown. So, well done, Ayr United. Brilliant performance.
Yeah, bring him home. Bring him home. Get him in some sort of coaching capacity. We'll keep an eye on him. We did say that a couple of weeks ago, John. We're going to keep an eye on Bruni. So that's just what we're doing just now. Just keeping a wee eye on Scott Brown, Ayr United manager.
Still funny, Xander. He's still funny, Scott Brown. I was watching his interview after the game last night, and he's standing in the stand talking to the BBC pundits, and they're saying that we'll show you this goal, they says, in one of the goals, and they went to the highlights. Says, obviously he picks it up in the edge of the box there. This is Scott Brown. Obviously he's picked up in the edge of the box there, and it's a great finish, but the guy hits the ball and it comes back off a defender. So he's at the wrong bit. Says, he says, I don't know what that was.
He's a character in the Scott. He's brilliant.
I love Scott Brown. A great character.
Yeah, totally. Other wee bit of football news. Celtic ladies kicked off the day. Celtic versus Dundee United. That was at 1 o'clock the day.
I've seen that. I didn't watch it. I just seen the result later. 9-0. That's a great start in it against Mother team that I like, the Tangerines.
Yeah.
Old Arabs. It was a scalp and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There's a good start, just a good start for the champions. So start as the mean to go on. We'll move on, John. Let's get to the preview, right? The big game, Celtic against Hibs, Hibs against Celtic, whatever way you want to put it. Easter Road, Sunday afternoon, early Sunday afternoon kick-off. Referee for this one is Nick Walsh. On the VAR, we have Alan Muir. So that's your referees for the weekend. Obviously, David Gray is now the manager of Hibs there, John. He'll have them battling, no doubt. It's going to be a tough one. Anytime you go to Easter Road, it's tough. But I can see maybe with an early goal, Celtic having quite a comfortable afternoon on Sunday.
Aye, if we get an early goal, that is. But it's going to be... I know I watched your wee video on Facebook. The Lookalikes video. I've got one for David Gray, John Malkovich. I discussed that with you last week, and you'd never heard of John Malkovich?
No. I've asked people to give us the lookalikes so I can make another video, because that was quite a success for that one. I'll put the link in the description as well. If anybody wants to see it, just click in, it'll take you straight to it. Yeah, John, that was... you said that to me, John Malkovich. I still don't know who it is, so what I'm going to do is get the two pictures, put it on the screen, and let us know in the comments what you think.
Oh yeah, he looks like John Malkovich. John Malkovich, obviously when he was younger, he had hair, but now he's obviously bald, like David Gray as well.
Right, let's get into the team news, John. Let's get back to the serious stuff. The team news for Hibs against Celtic. Hibs are going well. They've got a full squad, so we don't need to touch too much on them. Celtic, on the other hand, it's looking good as well. I think Maid's back fit and ready to play, which is brilliant news, because he's just a major part of the team. Kuhn picked up a wee niggle last week as well. He's okay to play as well. And the only absence, for what I know, John, or for what I've read, is Naroki is still out injured, John. So one injury, more or less a full squad there.
Aye, well, that's good news, isn't it? I've read somewhere Maeda wasn't seen at training or something like that. I don't know if there's any truth in these things that I read, but apparently he wasn't spotted at the Celtic training ground during the week. So I don't know if there's any truth in that or no. It's just something I read.
Yeah, I saw that as well, John. But the manager said he's okay. So if a manager says it, John, I'm quite happy to go with that. Maid's fit, and it'll be good to see him in the team for the league games, John. He's just, I mean, all of our Japanese players are outstanding, but Maeda is just, making you say about Maeda, John, he's just a character as well. He's just a brilliant player. He's just a major part of the Celtic squad. Brilliant to see him in the team again, John. Then we've got Kyogo. The wee man's our only striker we've got just now, but he's looking very crisp and sharp. So he'll be starting as well. We'll get into the predicted lineups in a minute. But John, I'm just running through these Japanese players just now. Hatate, where would we be without these boys? John, you've got to look at it that way. Hatate, just as I said last week, a £40 million player at least for me. And then even Iwata, John, the boy that's, not getting many minutes just now. Obviously, it's just the first game last week. So, yeah, he's going to get more minutes as the season goes on, John. But where would we be, without our Japanese contingent of players?
I know Big Ange brought in some fantastic signings with the boys, Hatate, Maeda, Kyogo, Iwata. 4 top class players. And obviously Callum McGregor keeping Iwata out the team. Now, I like Iwata, Xander. You like him as well. I think he's top quality, Iwata. I think he's a brilliant player. And I think if that boy was getting regular starts, you'd see an even better player. I just think he's that good. He's as good as Hatate in Hatate's position, Mm-hmm. He's the equivalent. I think he was played at right back for a while under Ange, but playing the central midfield role, I thought he was absolutely outstanding in that position when Callum was injured. Sorry,
that's right.
I think the 4 of the Japanese players, I'd love Celtic to get them all in longer contracts. I think they're all outstanding talents, and the whole 4 of them are absolutely astounding.
Yeah, well said, John. Just thought I'd touch on the boys, because when you think about the performances they put in every game, and the fact that we've got Hatate back fully fit as well, you're seeing the Celtic you're seeing just now, John, against Man City, against Chelsea, against Kilmarnock. That's the Celtic you're seeing just now. With these boys, especially Hatate back fit. Obviously, Maeda was injured last week, but and Kyogo as well, John, looks like a different player this season. So hopefully he can get on the score sheet on Sunday. Let's get into the predicted lineup then, John. We just went through it there. I don't think there's going to be many changes. I think the only change is going to be Maida straight back in the team, if he is indeed fit, that is, of course. But what are you thinking, John? What's your 1 to 11? I know I'm just putting you on the spot here, but because it's going to be tough, dropping either Kuhn or James Forrest into it. So what are you thinking, John? What's your predicted lineup?
It's going to be Schmeichel, Scales, Carter Vickers, Taylor, Johnston at the back. Centre of the park, Hatate, O'Reilly and Callum McGregor. Up front, Kyogo, Nicholas Kuhn on the right and Dyson Maida on the left if he's fit. If no, it'll be the same as last week with James Forrest on the left and Nicholas Kuhn on the right.
Yeah, that's it, John. It's just great to have Dyson back into it. But, it's got to be tough to drop one of these boys, Forrest or Kuhn. But that's just football, I'm afraid. James Forrest, let's touch on him as well, John. He's playing, as you said last week, I think you said he's playing like a 25-year-old James Forrest. He's absolutely brilliant just now. His pace, he's gone by players for fun, John, at 33-year-old. He's gone by defenders for fun. Crosses into the box, brilliant again, layoffs, and he's still scoring goals, John. It's just great to have him back on form, the lad.
Aye, he's been outstanding, James. As Brendan Rodgers says, he's the best receiver of a ball for a winger that he's seen at Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
If he takes a hard pass out on that right-hand side, he'll control it perfectly and get across away. He's an outstanding player, James Forrest. And like he says, he's going by players like they're no there. He can cut on the inside, he can cut on the outside and go by them and get a shot in or pass it. He's no selfish. He's ready to make the pass. If it's easier for somebody else to score, he's got great vision. He's still a top player, James Forrest. He's just turned 33, and I think there's another good couple of years in him. But come the starting lineup, I think it will be Nicholas Kuhn ahead of James Forrest, Sander.
Yeah, another boy that's flying. I think last week he took off in the 65th minute. I think he picked up a slight niggle. So what we're looking for from Nicholas Kuhn now, John, is a full 90 minutes, because he doesn't really play a full 90 minutes, does he? I don't know if it's a fitness issue or what, but that's the next stage for Nicholas. Keep the form up, keep the performances up, scoring the goals as well, I might add. But all we're looking for is a 90 minutes out of him now.
Aye, that's it. 90 minutes. I know he was injured against, was it Man City? He got injured against. He was missing for the Chelsea game, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
So obviously there might still be a wee niggle from that. I don't know, but obviously he's back ready to play. So we'll see who starts. I think it'll be Nicholas Kuhn ahead of James Forrest if Dyson's fit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, my lineup's just the same. There's no any point going through it. It's the exact same. Same 1 to 11. I also agree with you with the winger situation as well. If Dyson's fit, he'll be playing and Nicholas will be on the right. So that's it. I totally agree. 100%. It's the exact same as yours, John. A wee quick touch on, before we get to the betting, a wee quick touch on Alistair Johnson. He wasn't really fit and sharp last week, John. He got took off early as well. Ralston came on and played a blinder. So you maybe think there's a wee chance that Alistair maybe get an extra week's rest and Ralston plays, or is that just nonsense?
Nonsense.
Alistair straight in then for you. And what about his fitness, John? Obviously, he played right up to the semi-final in the Copa America for Canada. Do you think maybe he's been rushed back too early, because he didn't really look fit last week, did he?
Well, the more games he gets under his belt, then the fitter he'll get. So he'll start ahead of Ralston. I can guarantee you that, Sander.
Right, okay. Well, just thought I'd ask the question. Because Ralston did play well when he came on last week, didn't he? Against Kilmarnock. He also scored a goal. Defended well when he had to. I see an improvement in Anthony Ralston, John, but Anthony is there as a backup right back. Let's be honest, he's not there to be the number one right back. So Anthony's doing what he's asked to do, I suppose, isn't he? Right, John. Betting. Let's get into the betting. This is a wee bit interesting for me because, John, the betting on Celtic to win is actually better. You know, getting worse odds on Celtic winning what you were against Kilmarnock. They gave Kilmarnock a better chance at Celtic Park, but they're giving Hibs at Easter Road on Sunday. So let's run through it. 17-2, John. So I'll make that between 8 and 91 for a Hibs win. 5-1 for the draw. Last week it was 3-1. And 1-3 for the Celtic win, John. Last week it was 1-2. So they're giving Celtic an even better chance of winning, and that's away at Easter Road. What do you think of the odds?
Aye, it is. It's good odds. And favourable odds for Celtic, I mean. But I haven't seen Hibs this season. I haven't watched them this season. So I can't tell you anything about Hibs. David Gray's their manager. I have seen a Hibs game, but I can't remember which one it was, because I remember seeing David Gray and thinking there's big John Malkovich. But I've definitely seen a Hibs game, but I can't remember the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going by the odds, John. I mean, just looking at the odds alone, you know, they're giving Hibs no chance. I know Hibs lost last weekend against St Mirren. Obviously, they lost 3-0 up at St Mirren Park, or whatever it's called.
That's the game I've seen, Xander.
Yeah, John. That's it. That's the game they lost. So they're known for them, obviously, but you know, for Hibs to be at home and to be given a price of 17-2 to beat Celtic, I think is unbelievable. Let's move on. Anyway, John, let's move on. First goal scorer, Dyson 71, Matt O'Reilly 61, Scales 25-1. Outside bet, John, we just spoke about him, Alistair Johnson 33-1 to score the first goal. That's your betting on your first goal scorer. And I'll just quickly move on, run through this quickly, John. Right. Correct score predictions. Correct score betting. 1-1 is 11-1. So if you fancy a redraw at 1 each, that's priced at 11-1. A Celtic 2-0 win is 7-1. A 2-1 win is 8-1. A 3-1 win is 9-1. A 4-2 win, if you want plenty of goals, John, 4-2 win, 33-1. A 4-0 win is 16-1. And take your fancy there, John.
A 3-1 win for Celtic.
3-1, yeah. I don't know if I've got that road. Yeah, 91, John. That's it's no bad odds for a 3-1 win. But the defence, Celtic defence is playing really well just now. So we're hoping for a clean sheet, obviously, on Sunday. But it doesn't matter about clean sheets and that just now. As long as we get the 3 points and go back to the top of the league, John, that's all we're looking for.
Exactly. I'll take a penalty. 1-0 wins under. Any kind of win will do me right now. Just any kind of win. That's all me and every other Celtic fan's looking for. But the way Celtic's performing right now, if they perform the way they did against Kilmarnock, there's nobody in this league's going to stop them. But they need to perform like that every game, Xander.
Yeah, I just hope the sort of a news and unrest surrounding Matt O'Reilly isn't going to affect the team in any way. And I don't think it will. I don't think Brendan would ever allow that to happen, if I'm going to be honest with you. Score prediction, John. Score prediction. In fact, what I'll do first before the score prediction, John, is the bet builder. I've done a wee bet builder for this week, right? You're not going to be rich with this bet builder, but I'll run through it anyway, right? Celtic half-time, full-time, under 4 goals in the game, and both teams to score no is priced at 5-1. There you go, John. A wee quick buck for anybody that wants to put a wee pound or two on that. So that's half-time, full-time, Celtic to be leading in both halves, under 4 goals in the game, and both teams to score no. So 5-1, decent price.
Aye, that's all right. Aye. Has any of these bet builders ever won?
No. It's hard to get a bet builder, John. It's really difficult, because you're not just betting on one thing, you're betting on 3 different things. Half time, full time, that's one bet. Under 4 goals, that's another bet. And both teams to score as a third bet. So it is difficult, but you get better odds the harder it is, I suppose, don't you? So that's your bet builder for this week. Good luck anybody that puts a wee pound or two on that. Score prediction, John, what are you thinking?
What I says earlier, Xander, I'm thinking I was going to say 3-0, but Hibs at Easter Road. It's always a goal in them at Easter Road for some reason. They always turn up against Celtic. It's going to be a tough game, Xander. I'm not going to be kidding ourselves here. or I'm not going to be kidding myself. It is going to be a tough game, and I'm going to stick to my guns and say 3-1 Celtic.
Okay, let me have a wee think. I'm looking at a clean sheet, John. I think I'm going to get a clean sheet. So I'm thinking between 2 or 3-0. 2-0, John. I'm going to stick with 2-0. Because you know what, as you say, you know Hibs are like. They're dogged, they're tricky. They always up their game for Celtic as well for some reason. So we'll come away with the win, and I'm going to say 2-0. So both of us are saying a win for Celtic there and putting us back to the top of the league.
Well, hopefully one of us are right. I don't care who it is, as long as we get the 3 points under. But we've not had a score right in the predictor this season yet, have we? It's only been one game right enough.
No, well, that's it. No, it's early doors, isn't it? So, you know, the predictor doesn't really matter as long as we get the points or the win. That's all Celtic supporters are concerned about, John.
Well, we can ask Roseanne. She normally gets them right.
Yeah, so she does. Yeah. I don't know if Roseanne put a predictor in for last week. I don't know. I can't remember. But we'll see if she puts a predictor in on the day's video, John. Right. Anything you want to add, John, about the Hibs game before we move on?
Nah, nothing to add. It's just like we say, if we play the way we did last week, Hibs are not going to get close to Celtic. It's as simple as that. But they've got to be consistent with these performances. This was the problem last season. There was a lack of consistency in performances. Still won the league. It was Brendan's first season, and I think you'll see a stronger Celtic in Brendan's second season. That's what I said last week. It's going to be I think you're going to see a much stronger Celtic this season. It's Brendan's second season, isn't it, Xander? It's going to be, I think you're going to see a different Celtic this season.
Yeah, it's looking good anyway just now, isn't it? The way we're playing, it's just so good to watch. So tomorrow's going to be interesting to see how we play after the Kilmarnock game, our first away game of the season. Yet again, we play second after Rangers, John, and it's the same next weekend as well. We play next Sunday as well against St Mirren, whereas Rangers play on the Saturday. Don't know what that's all about. And then the game after that, obviously, is against Rangers at Celtic Park. But I'm just skipping too far ahead there. Before we get into the comments, John, the Rivals Corner, let's touch on the Rivals Corner. Rangers played the day. Obviously, we need to keep an eye on them. They are our immediate rivals, so we need to keep an eye on them. 2-1 win against Motherwell, John. A very, very poor Motherwell team, but also a very, very poor Rangers team. I put on the last 5 minutes, John. I watched the last 5 minutes because I saw it was 2-1 and it was close. And it was all Motherwell. For what I saw, it was all Motherwell the last 5 minutes. And the referee only added on 2 minutes of injury time. I'm sure there must have been plenty of substitutes and stoppages, etc. Motherwell were pounding their goal and he only adds on 2 minutes. But John, Rangers come away with a 2-1 win. And that puts them, it gives them the first win of the season and puts them, I think, second in the league just now.
I've not looked at the league table. At Motherwell, they're a very poor team. I know the Motherwell fans listen to them. They're not happy with their team. They think their team's terrible. They want change and all that stuff. So that gives you an idea of the level of team Rangers were up against today. So if they're struggling at home against that says it all, didn't it? All right, I know it's not their home ground. It's Hampden. I noticed they've got banners up outside Hampden saying Rangers Football Club and all that stuff. What's that all about? That's Hampden. That's not their home. Why are they putting big placards up saying Rangers Football Club?
No, who knows, John? Who knows what goes through these people's minds, to be honest with you. But what I did notice about the last 5 minutes of that game today, John, there was a free kick to Motherwell right outside the 18-yard box, right? But a minute or two to go, and Halliday took the free kick, John, and my goodness, Israel's just thrown the ball back to the goalkeeper. He threw the ball in straight to the goalkeeper. Honestly, John, a free kick right outside the box with a minute to go. Motherwell pounding on the pressure to get an equaliser, and that's what Halliday does. But anyway, let's move on. That's
the last man you'd want taking a free kick against them, Xander.
Yeah, that's it, John. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. But as soon as the commentator said Halliday's taking the free kick, I just laughed, to be honest with you. And he didn't disappoint, John. He just threw it straight to the goalkeeper at the near post. Anyway, let's move on to Rangers. Let's stick with them for the moment. Europe and midweek, John. I watched a bit of that, right? I'm not going to lie. I did watch a bit of it. Two very, very poor teams, John. You know, the Dynamo Kiev, you know, obviously playing in a neutral venue, and maybe I don't know, I don't want to over exaggerate here, but a couple of thousand fans, possibly, 2,000 or 3,000 fans. Very quiet stadium, no atmosphere. Two very poor teams that couldn't string two passes together. Dynamo Kiev obviously took the lead eventually, and then Rangers equalised in the last kick of the ball. They celebrated like they'd actually won the European Cup. Be happy with a draw away from home in Europe. That's fair enough, John. But don't climb over hoarding boards and onto the park. And the players are more or less doing the same. The way they reacted towards it, a draw when they haven't even qualified yet, I might add, John. I thought that was quite funny.
Well, I watched the whole game, but look, that Dynamo Kiev team were really, really poor. They looked good until they got into the attacking third, and the decision making was beyond brutal. If they would have made better decisions up front, they'd have finished 5-0 to them. Dynamo Kiev, because their decision making in the final third is among the worst I've ever seen in my life in a game of football. And obviously, like you says, they get a last kick of the ball draw, moral victory, I suppose you could call it, with them. They're all falling out the stands and all that, and jumping near each other, and total joke, isn't they? They're just a total joke. And singing their sectarian songs, of course. Songs about Bobby Sands when he's it's not to do with anything, They're playing against a Ukrainian side in Poland. What's Bobby Sands got to do with that?
Yeah, no. That is just unbelievable, to be honest with you. That's neutral venue against a team that, very poor. I did watch 20 minutes of that game, and what I saw from the Ukrainian team, John, was very, very disappointing, to be honest with you. But anyway, John, I heard there was an open-top bus driving through Poland that night to celebrate the one each draw. So,
aye. No, well, wouldn't surprise me about them. It's the way they celebrated a draw is unbelievable. And like you say, they haven't beat anybody yet.
Yeah,
there's a good chance if Dynamo Kiev can get their final third sorted out, they'll hammer them at Hampden if they can get their final third sorted out. But generally speaking, they're a very poor team. But you've also got to take into account they're a Ukrainian team playing their home games in a different country, not just a different stadium, a different country. They're playing their games in Poland, hence the empty stadium. It's just shocking to see into a Champions League qualifier with an empty stadium. It was just, I think as soon as I seen that, I thought, this is going to be a long night. And it was.
Yeah. To be fair to the Ukrainians, they still had the chance to bury Rangers, didn't they? They just didn't, as you say, John, they just didn't take their chances. All right, John, that'll wrap it up for the rivals going up for this week. Rangers are they've got a tough game. Let's be honest, they've got a tough game on Tuesday night against the Ukrainians. So we'll watch that one with interest. Obviously, they're looking for that £40 million bounty as well, John. So they'll be wanting to put that one to bed and move on to the qualifier for the Champions League. All right, John, that wraps that up then. Right, we'll move on to the comments. What have you got for us, buddy?
All righty. It was disappointing, that last minute kick of the ball. I hate that, especially when it's happening. But let's move on to the comments. First up was Mad About Football. Love the new intro song and 4-0 to the champions. Happy days.
Yeah, that's it, John. 4-0. It was a great start, John. We just need to continue on against Hibs, don't we? That's vital. We just need to keep these performances at a very, very high level. And it was a very high level last week, wasn't it, John? And if we keep the performances up against Hibs on Sunday, I can't see there being any problem whatsoever. And the new intro, by the way, I like it. I do like it. Obviously, John, it's an intro you've made. I like it. What are you thinking of it, John?
I don't like it. That's why it's getting re-recorded.
Yeah, well, that's I do like it. John is currently upgrading it or trying to improve it or whatever you want to call it. So he's going to send that over to me for tomorrow's podcast. So we'll keep a wee listen out for that. But I like it, John. I quite like it.
Well, if you're happy, clap your hands. Anyway, he says 4-0 to champions and happy. You remember Happy Days, Xander?
But yeah, I remember Happy Days. Yeah, of course I do.
And we're talking about the TV show here.
Yeah, Fonzarello.
Fonzarello, I watched the leather and all that, wasn't it? So every time he walked in to the studio set, everybody would scream. You remember that?
It's like when I walk into the house at night.
Aye, screaming, get out.
That was quite good. I liked the Fonzie. That was no bad.
Fonzarello, Happy Days.
Yeah.
Aye. What a lot of rubbish. Anyway. I don't know. I'm not a fan of American comedies at all, Xander. I just can't. I can't get to grips with it. The last American comedy I liked was, I think it was Taxi with wee Danny DeVito.
Taxi.
Aye.
Brilliant. There's a few good American comedies to be fair, but no. There is a few, but there's a lot of poor ones like Friends and all that. Really poor American sitcoms.
I think Friends put me off comedy for life. I think I watched one episode of it and I was thinking that too cheesy, too clean cut, too. I don't know. Give me On the Buses any days under to that garbage,
Aye. No, that's it. No. Fonz was all right, but it wasn't, as you say, it was a wee bit, poor. It was a wee bit poor.
Aye. Yeah, I think the American cartoons used to have laughing in them as well, like, can't remember, no Scooby-Doo, that didn't have laughing, Pink Panther, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. The added laughter, etc. Yeah, that's right. Very poor.
Aye. The Flintstones, utter garbage. I just don't get American humour at all. I just don't find it funny.
No.
Although some of their comedy movies are quite funny, but they're like sitcoms and that. I just don't get it. Anyway, let's move on for comedies.
Marriage with Children, do you know like
that? I can't remember much of it, Xander. I think it was all right. Third Rock for the Sun, that was okay, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a few good ones, John. There really is. American ones are okay. As you say, there was the ones in the 80s and 70s as well, Taxi, etc. They were really funny stuff,
A lot of the older ones were good, like Bilko, stuff like that, but I know it's well before my time, but I still quite enjoyed them for some reason. But generally speaking, no, I'm not a big fan of American comedies. Laurel and Hardy's the best thing ever out of America.
Aye. Legends. Geniuses, two geniuses.
Aye, they were really good. But anyway, let's move on for American comedies. I prefer the British comedy all day, to be honest with you. Big fan of classic comedy, and I'm still going on about it. But I like the classic British comedy, Dad's Army, On the Buses, Steptoe Son, all that stuff. That's the stuff I like, Xander.
That's brilliant. Yeah, superb. Porridge, etc. All good stuff. Only Fools and Horses. Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Right, this time we're moving on.
Right, okay.
The best comedy in Britain's the Sefco, innit? That's good.
You're always guaranteed a laugh with that comedy show.
It's good comedy. Anyway, next up was Roseanne. Roseanne says, that's the weight off my shoulders for a while. First game over. Well done to the Celtic. Great day.
Good day. It was a good day last week, for the flag, with Big Jim Craig, and then the performance and everything else that went along with it. Just a great day, great start, and roll on to Sunday to see what Celtic turns up on Sunday.
Well, just more of the same, Xander. That's all we can ask for.
Yeah,
more of the same.
That's it, mate.
Thanks for your comment, Roseanne. Sorry we can't expand on it, but we can just agree with it. So thanks.
Yeah. Cheers, Roseanne.
Next up was Phil Boy. Phil Boy says, been waiting for this for 80 plus days. Glad yous are back. Thanks for that, Phil.
Shy, thank you. Nice comment there. I've been on all through the summer though, but maybe he's just been waiting on the previews. Yeah, well said. Good comment. Thanks for that, Phil. Appreciate that.
Aye. We were on through the summer break, Phil, but we just did one podcast a week. Right now it's 2, so we're back to previews and all that stuff. So aye, thanks for that, Phil.
Cheers, Phil. Appreciate that. Keep the comments coming in, pal.
Right, so next up was James Kennedy. James says, 100% agree about Liam Scales. Gives us all every game and hasn't done much wrong. Hail, hail.
Yeah, that's what we spoke about last week about some of the Celtic fans, John, wasn't it? Being on Liam's back, just a handful. Not a lot, but, it's dwindling. That side of the Celtic support is dwindling. A lot of the Celtic fans love him now. I'd say about 95% love Liam. And a great comment there because, last week he was absolutely flawless. Also scored a goal, nearly scored another. Brilliant in defence. He's just a top quality player there at Celtic. Liam Scales.
Aye, one of my favourites at Celtic, to be honest with you, Liam Scales. And I still, to this day, I don't get why any Celtic fan would think get rid of him. Because he's right up there with the best players at Celtic right now, and his consistency levels are second to none at Celtic. I think he's just an outstanding talent, and he's right for Celtic, a good fit for Celtic. I'm not saying he's the best defender in the world, but he seems to, he wins all his tackles, seems to do the right thing. He's good at getting forward, makes a good pass. All right, he's got a wee mistake in him, just like every single player on planet Earth has got a mistake in him. So, I'm delighted with him, Scales, Sander. I think he's top notch.
Yeah. I just hope he goes through the season without any injuries, John. That's all we're looking for.
Aye, well, that's it. Same with every Celtic player. Get through the season, same performances they gave against Kilmarnock and no getting injured. That's what I'm looking for. So thanks for that, James Kennedy.
Yeah, cheers, James. Thanks, pal.
Aye, thanks for that, James. Totally agree with what you says. So next up was James Doran. He says it was a stonewall penalty turned away with the Kyogo incident, and apparently there is a different set of rules when Celtic are playing compared to Sefco.
Aye, we went on about that last week, John, didn't we? It was quite bad, that, to be honest with you. The penalty for Hearts last weekend, Hearts denied a stonewall and then Celtic denied. No, that it would have made a difference to the result. We just want to see consistency, John. That's all we're looking for. And we're not going to get it. Not going to be the first weekend of the league anyway. There was no consistency last weekend.
No. I know they says they've changed the penalty rules, but if they've changed the penalty rules, then it looks like there's no such thing as a penalty now, because that handball for Hearts against Rangers, that handball, that's a stonewall penalty if ever you've seen one. If you get in with your arm raised to stop the ball, it's a stonewall penalty and a yellow card, and nothing happened. And the Hugo one was a stonewall penalty as well, by the way.
Yeah, that's right, John. We just hope that stops, because we need fairness across the board, John. Fairness across the board. That's all we're looking for. We didn't get it last weekend. We just hope that was just, the start of the season blues, if you like, and the decisions are a lot more even, if you like, John, because we just want to see fairness across the board. We're not asking for anything different here, John. We're not asking for any special treatment. We just want this fairness across the board for Celtic and for every other team in the league.
Aye, exactly, aye. Now, I want to know what actually constitutes a penalty. Now that they've changed the rules, I want to know what constitutes a penalty, because that one last week at the Hearts Rangers game, that's a stonewall as you'll ever see. So if that's not a penalty, what is a penalty, Xander? I can't wait to see what Celtic get penalties against them for. Because I guarantee you, none of them will be as bad as that one I seen at Tynecastle last week, the one that Milky Naismith thought wasn't a penalty.
Yeah. You see, they can't just say they've changed the route. They can't just give a team a decision and then give a team the same decision, if you know, and then say, we've changed the rules. They've got to explain what the change in the rules are, John. A handball, to me, especially if your hand is up at head level, that's a stonewall, because you've moved your arms up to stop the ball from moving, to change the direction of the ball. That's a stonewall penalty. So where's the rule change there?
Well, they haven't changed the rules for Rangers by the looks of things. Maybe that's what they mean. We'll change the rules for everybody else, but we won't change them for Rangers, because who actually gets a penalty against Rangers. Nobody gets a penalty against Rangers. I think Celtic had one last season, a Stonewaller, but Matt O'Reilly missed it, of course.
Yeah.
But it's very, very difficult to get a penalty against them, Xander. So I don't know what this rule change is. And that's what I'm saying. I can't wait to see the penalties given against Celtic this season, which there will be plenty of them, by the way.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see.
Well, here's an interesting thing, John, before you move on to the next comment. I put up on Facebook the Alan Stubbs video where he's talking about the referee saying you'll never get a penalty against Rangers, right? So Big Stubbs, he never mentioned the referee. He just he had an interview where it said that, and I put that video on YouTube. I also added a poll to that video, John, and the question was, have the referees changed since back in the early 90s? And the results for the poll was, yes, the referees have changed, 6%, and no, the referees have not changed. 94% said no, John.
Well, there's no change for, when it comes to Celtic and Sevco, they haven't changed. It takes a lot to get a penalty against Sevco, a hell of a lot. And for Celtic, it doesn't take much. Now, we know that. We've seen it. We've seen it all last season. The Matt O'Reilly incident and what's his name? Iwata incident, of course. And then you see incidents like we've seen last week at Tynecastle. Look at the difference. If any of the 3 penalties was a Stonewaller, it was the one against Rangers. It was the Stonewaller, the only Stonewaller out of 3 of them. And it's the only one it wasn't given.
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it, John? It's, people say we're paranoid, but, there's that poll there, John. The poll, the referees have not changed. 94% are saying that the referees are the same as what they were back in the early 90s, John.
Aye, I don't think they've changed much. I think there's always been that wee bit of favouritism when it comes to Rangers, of course, and very dubious decisions when it comes to Celtic, bordering on the corrupt. And that might sound paranoid, but for what I'm seeing, it's factual. It's corruption. You can say what you want, Xander. That's what I think.
Yeah, I can guarantee you, John, that we're talking about a VAR or a referee decision on Sunday's game, Celtic and Hibs game. I can guarantee you on the post-match on Sunday, we're talking about something that's happened with VAR or the referee.
Guaranteed, aye. We'll wait and see. Maybe Celtic will just be too good and they'll just play Hibs off the park and there won't be any need for VAR. But we'll wait and see. Thanks for your comment anyway. Who left that comment again? I think it was James Doran.
Yeah, James.
Aye.
Yeah, James always leaves a good comment and he always gives us something to talk about, doesn't he?
Aye. Anybody wants to leave a comment, give us something to talk about. That's always good. Let us know what your favourite comedies are as well, because we like talking about comedies and stuff as well. It gives us a good laugh. But we spoke about it long enough, didn't we? So, aye, leave your comments. Leave any comment. Let us know what you had for your dinner or whatever. Who cares? Just leave a comment. We'll read it out. It's always a good laugh.
That's it.
Or it's a good bit of debate as well.
Yes, we've had plenty of debate with comments, John. It's quite good. That's why we like doing it. So, yeah, keep the comments coming in, folks.
Right. Anyway, next up was River Sea Free. And River Sea Free says, if someone asked Donnelly why he plays football, he'd say it's because he gets to assault people without legal repercussions. I'll say that again. If someone asked Donnelly why he plays football, he'd say it's because he gets to assault people without legal repercussions. He's talking about Liam Donnelly from Kilmarnock. Yeah,
last week he's leaving the boot in, and every time he plays Celtic, he leaves the boot in. Liam Donnelly, he's just one of the rough players, John. Rough round the edges is an understatement, to be honest with Liam Donnelly. He's got very, very little football ability. And I'm just being honest, John, I'm not being harsh on the boy. He's just a big, no-nonsense centre-half, isn't he? Who likes to boot the ball up the park and boot the players up the park as well.
I know he does a good impersonation of a man with zero ability. I don't think he is a centre half. I think he's a midfielder, central midfielder. Plays in that kind of Callum McGregor type role. I'm not sure. He could be a centre back, but I'm not a fan of that boy at all. He always seems to be try to snap Celtic players' legs. And River C3 also says, quite the gamble to go up against Killie with only one striker in the squad, but we got the job done. He says, beautiful play at times. Even Palmer made runs. Get one left back and one striker in, and this is going to be a fun season.
Yeah, that's it, John. It's the Kyogo thing. We can't go wrapping up in cotton wool. We need to play them in every game, John. But I know that Kilmarnock, they've got a lot of hard tackling players there. We said that in the preview last week as well, that they were a big physical team. But we must play Kyogo. We can't hide him. It was a bit of a risk because if he gets injured, I do agree with the commenter. If he gets injured, then we're snookered, didn't we? As regards to the left back, John, we're linked with a left midfielder, stroke left back, stroke left winger, just a left-sided player up and down the team, John. Jeffrey Schlupp, I forgot to mention him earlier. Jeffrey Schlupp from Crystal Palace, 31-year-old. It looks as though we're going to be getting him on a loan, a 1-year loan. 31-year-old. He's running out of contract at Crystal Palace. He's got 1 year left, and looks as though he could be coming to Celtic that final year, John. I should have mentioned that earlier.
I read about that. Look, loan players, you're always going to get at least one loan player in. I think one of the commenters made it last week. Brendan's traditional loan signing, some guy that's past it or whatever. But I don't know much or anything about that player, so we'll need to wait and see what he's like, Xander. I don't know anything about the guy. Never heard him.
Yeah, but what it does tell you, John, is that Brendan knows there's a problem at the left there. Left midfield, we're a bit short. Left back, we're definitely short. And on the left wing, if Dyson's injured, we're having to play a right winger on the left. So he's just looking to have a bit of backup there, I think.
Aye, but we definitely need backup for Greg Taylor. Aye. A left back, I think we do need a left back, Xander. Backup for Greg.
100%, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Thanks for your comment, River C3. He also went on about Liam Scales. He looked really stressed out when Chelsea pressed him. Well, he's playing against Chelsea. I mean, these players are worth millions and millions of pounds.
Yeah,
but I thought he handled it quite well.
Yeah, he done really well against Chelsea and Man City.
Well, he thinks he's not sure how he and Taylor. He's not sure how Scales and Taylor will do on the left side in Europe. Look, Celtic squad isn't really equipped for the Champions League. We need a much stronger side for the Champions League. And I think going into the Champions League with the current side, who are good for the domestic stuff, but I think we'll struggle in the Champions League with that side, Xander.
Aye. Well, look what happened last season with the same team in the Champions League. All depends on the draw as well, of course, but you're going to be up against top quality teams in the Champions League. So a bit of extra cover, John, might be okay. I think we'll be okay. Another left back, and as you say, another centre half is covered as well, and a couple of other players, John, especially an extra striker. I think we'll be okay.
Aye, well, we're still short in a few positions. I think we need a centre back, a left back, a centre back, a left back. I think we need another striker, and I keep saying another midfielder. I would love another midfielder, somebody that's an absolute powerhouse and a leader. The more leaders you've got at your team, the better your chances are, Xander, at winning these domestic trophies.
Yeah. And I think Brendan said in his interview yesterday as well, didn't he, that these players will get over the line. It's just taking a bit of time. So we just got to take the manager at his word.
Well, this is it. We've got another 3 weeks left in the transfer window, and I can't see us getting all the players I just mentioned, all the positions filled. I think we'll maybe bring in another 2 players, and that'll be it, Xander.
Yeah. Who are you thinking then, John? Adam Eder?
I'm thinking Adam Eder, aye, and I'm thinking
maybe this boy Jeffrey Schlupp.
It could be him. Look, we need a lot more than 2 players. We need to strengthen that bench. Aye. We definitely need more than 2 players. We need at least another 4 players, in my opinion. And I've just rhymed all the positions off that I think we need.
Yeah, okay. All right, fair dues, John.
Thanks for that, River C3.
Yeah, another good comment, pal. Keep them coming in.
Next up, we would never sell a club for £1, says Celtic made light work of Kilmarnock and it could easily have been 7 or 8 as we created so many chances.
We did. And I think somebody said 7 on the guest for the competition last week, but we never quite got the goals. It doesn't help matters when you've been denied Stonewall penalties, etc. But it doesn't matter, John. At 4-0, I was happy with 4-0. Everybody was happy with that. These referees try to keep the score down, because they don't want Celtic embarrassing Scottish football with 8s and 9-0s every week, so they're trying to keep the score down. Obviously, that's just me talking nonsense, but you never know, John. Celtic could have buried Kilmarnock last week, as a commenter says. Who was it, John?
That was we would never sell a club.
We would never sell a club. Bang on. Celtic should have won 7 or 8-0 last week, John.
Aye. That was a walk in the park, really. It really was. It was so simple for Celtic.
Yeah.
And that's Kilmarnock. That's a Kilmarnock team. I think they're a half-decent team. I think Derek McInnes has got them playing well. They played well in Europe midweek again against a very good side. But I thought it was a great result for Celtic. It could have been 7 or 8.
Yeah. No, you might get that on Sunday, John. You never know.
I certainly hope so. Next up was Paul McHugh. Thanks for that. We would never sell a club.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.
Next up was Paul McEwen. He says 4-0 to the Celtic. Aye, thanks for that, Paul. It certainly was.
It certainly was, yes. 4-0.
Next up was one club since 1888. Refs again, yesterday and today. Leg breaker on Palmer. Crippling block on Kyogo. Same old. Well done, Celtic, despite the Kilmarnock thugs.
Yeah. John, you want to know something? I think the Celtic fans are they're fed up with it. They're used to it. They're fed up with it. They just need to move on. That's the way the fans are looking at it. We can only bring it up on the podcast. I'll never stop bringing it up because it needs to be highlighted, John. 4-0. Well done, the Hoops. The commenter says they are crippling tackles, penalties denied. That's the attitude of the Celtic fans now, isn't it, John? Just, it happens every week, but we're still winning. You can imagine us having to bring this up, these issues, the penalties, etc., tackles, if we're losing games. It's just as well we're winning these games, John, and it gives us the freedom to bring these comments up.
Oh, you still get called paranoid, though. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're winning or losing and mentioning these things. I want to see justice for these dirty tackles that's going on in Celtic players under. We need to start seeing justice for them. These Celtic players need a bit of protection because the way it looks to me, teams can go into Celtic players as hard as they like, do what they want and just get away with it.
Yeah, and that's why we highlight it in every podcast, because it happens every week. There's hardly a game goes by this isn't happening, John. These crunching time. You're not talking about a slightly late tackle here, John. You're talking about that boy's ankle was facing, he was facing north and the ankle was facing south. His foot was facing south. That's how twisted his ankle was. It was a shocking tackle, John. And for that to not go to the SFA and everything else along with it, all we can do is highlight it.
Aye. So referees must know that every Celtic fan isn't happy with us. You can hear the Celtic fans screaming in the stands. It's disgusting the way Celtic players are treated. You can go in as hard as you like on a Celtic player and get away with it. It's as simple as that. Anyway, let's move on, Sander, because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Thanks for that comment. Another one that gave us something to talk about.
Yeah, good comments tonight. Keep them coming in.
That was one club since 1888. Thanks for that, mate.
Thanks, Phil. Thank you.
Rosemary was up next. Hail, hail to all. Happy as can be. I think that's meant to be happy. Happy as can be.
Yeah, happy as can be. We were all happy last weekend. The only issue was what we've just spoke about. That was the only problem. That was the only problem. Went to the Hearts game with the penalty where Hearts should have won the game, and the disgusting tackles, John, not tackle. There was a few, and the penalty denied for Kyogo. So, but apart from that, happy as can be, and we're looking for the same performance and show on Sunday.
Aye, exactly. Aye. Well, they had to take Big Odd Bod off before he gets sent off last week.
That's right, John.
Big Liam Donnelly, what an animal he is. And he had a few tasty tackles and they had to take him off, like I says, before he gets sent off.
That's right. Yeah, he's all McInnes is doing is protecting his team there, John, so he can play the next week and do the same thing. But the question is, does he do that against other teams, or does he just leave it for Celtic players?
Oh, and his team's quite a battling team. They play this. I don't know. I watched the game in Europe the other night. There wasn't really any bad tackles in that, but Kilmarnock certainly go in with some tasty tackles. They don't hold back, Sander.
And nearly should, John. But there's a way to do these tackles. There's timing. Have ability, time the tackle, be a good defender. Don't just dive in. You know, this boy with the leg breaker as well, John. That was ill-timed, ill-judged, and just looking to end that boy's career. And I don't care what anybody says. He was looking to end that boy's career, John. That was Brad Lyons was. He should have been banned for 3 or 4 games for that.
Aye, no, it wasn't badly timed or anything. It was just a deliberate attempt to injure a player. It was just deliberate. There's no time or anything involved. And his intention was to get Palmer off the park, get him injured. That was his intention. I don't care what anybody says. If you look at that tackle again, watch it over and over again, there's no intention to play the ball whatsoever. And you've seen the damage it done to Lewis Palmer.
That's it, John. That's it. You don't mind teams being physical as long as they've got the ability to do it. But don't go in with tackles like that, try to end players' careers, which was exactly what he tried today, John. He didn't even try and get Palmer injured for that game. He wanted to end that boy's career. That was an ankle snapper. That was a disgusting tackle for that boy Lyons, and he got away with it, John. He got a yellow card. For me, that's him getting away with it.
Oh, it's light punishment. I mean, you could feel that yourself. When you seen that happening, you could actually feel it, you know, how sore that would actually be. Mm-hmm. His studs are still in the grass, and Lyons just went in with his studs up, straight leg. That's a sore one, and it was a badging. It should have been banned for 3 matches at least.
Yeah, as I said last week, John, Palmer's lucky. That boy is a very, very lucky football player, John, to be still, you know, in fact, not even out for 1 game. You know, he's available for Sunday. He's a very lucky boy.
Very lucky, aye, absolutely right, Sander. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks for that comment. And that comment was nothing to do with what we were talking about, but we just keep going on about it because it was bad.
It was bad.
Patrick McCauley was up next. Thanks for that, Rosemary, by the way.
Thanks, Rosemary.
Next up was Patrick McCauley, who says, bring on the Hearts, the Hibs and the Rangers. Bring on the Spanish by the score.
Yeah, that's it. He's obviously, Patrick was having a wee drink last week, singing his songs. There's nothing wrong with that. Not a problem. Keep the comments coming in, Patrick, and hopefully you're full of the joy on Sunday.
Aye. Thanks for that, Patrick. And then I hope you're enjoying a wee drink the more after the game.
Yeah, hopefully.
What's your favourite comedy? Let us know in the comments. I'm dying to know what people like. You know, all these people we've been talking to for the past year. Let us know in the comments what you like doing and all that. Your favourite food or whatever. Just your favourite anything.
Yeah.
Let us know what you do for fun.
Yeah, that's it.
Just keep it clean, though.
Yeah, I think your commenters do keep it clean, John, so that's no problem. But it'd be good to hear, as you say, John, our regulars, not just the regulars, anybody that comments, what's your favourite comedy, what's your favourite film, you know, we'll bring it up in the comments.
All right, we can give an opinion on it. Me and Xander both love our movies and, you know, other stuff.
Yeah.
What's your favourite meal, Xander? What could you eat right now? If somebody was to offer you a meal right now, what would you like?
Well, what I'm getting for my dinner tonight, funny enough, is Chinese, so I'm looking forward to that. I like a wee chicken fried rice with curry sauce over the top of it, John.
Aye, that's okay. That I don't know. I like stuff like steak pie, roast spuds with sprouts and carrots and stuff. You know what I mean?
If you're talking homemade meals, that's a different story.
Aye, that's what I meant.
Homemade meals, the wife makes a lovely mince and dough ball. John, I love mince and dough ball.
There's some mince and dough balls there at Ibrox, isn't there?
Now, this isn't set up, by the way.
No,
John, I like mince and dough ball. Also like, let me think. There's a few, like, Obviously the usual ones, macaroni cheese, I like that, homemade meals. I like a wee steak now and again.
Aye, I like all them. Mince and dough balls is nice. I like mince with mashed spuds and stuff like that, mince with the carrots through it and the old dough balls. It depends who's making the dough balls.
Yeah.
You get some people that make beautiful dough balls.
Yeah.
I love anything. I eat any grub apart from fish. I can't stand fish.
All right. What about what's your favourite fast food or takeaway then? Before we call it a day, by the way, folks, we're going to end this soon enough. What's your favourite carry-out food, John, or takeaway?
Favourite takeaway? Probably, I agree with you. I'm big on the Chinese. I like chicken satay and fried rice.
All right. Perfect, John. Lovely.
Chicken satay is really nice.
Yeah. The Chinese stuff's quite good, isn't it? I've got to admit.
Oh, aye. I've got a couple more comments. I'll batter through them quickly, Xander, and that's us.
Go for it, John. Yeah, go for
it. Paul McComb says, I'll say that again. Don Robertson shouldn't be reffing any Celtic games. He's a Rangers fan. Someone's going to get badly hurt. Basically, that's what we've been talking about for most of the comments, Paul. Aye, you're right. And he also says he got absolutely drenched at the game. But when you're playing well and winning, who cares? Great pod, lads.
Yeah, that's it. And it's a great point as well because Don Robertson shouldn't be refereeing or on VAR at any Celtic game. Many times, as these issues been when he's in charge, John, Don Robertson. You look at the video I put on Facebook, or any video for that matter, regarding this tackle. He's many feet away from that, John, is he? 5 feet, 10 feet at the most, staring right at it, and he gives a yellow card. Doesn't he refer it to VAR? He shouldn't be anywhere near a Celtic game as far as I'm concerned. Paul's right.
No, I mean, it's a yellow card just for going in with your studs up. No, even if you miss the player, if you're going in with your studs up, it's dangerous play. But this Lions guy's actually connected with Palmer and nearly snapped his ankle. Like he says, he's a very, very lucky boy to, I know he was in a lot of pain, but he's a very lucky boy, Xander. Sorry you get drenched last week, Paul, because Xander says everybody wear a T-shirt.
I did say it was going to be sunny, didn't I? But the heavens opened up last weekend. And as I said last week, I hope nobody listened to me and took my advice and went with their shorts and T-shirt on because, as Paul said, he would have been totally drenched.
Aye. Anyway, Paul, we spent a lot of time talking about that, Don Robertson and the tackle and all that. But thanks for your comment, Paul. Always good to hear from you. Another regular.
That's right. Keep them coming, Paul. Keep them coming in, Paul.
And the competition winner was EMCD, who says, "Hello there, lads. I sent you a message through Instagram about the competition and the explanation for my name." So what was the explanation for his name?
Don't know. It's his name's Eon, so the E must be Eon. So I don't know, the MC must be Ian Mick something. It must be something like that. I never actually saw that comment, but I did see his comment over on Instagram. I didn't see anything about his name. He's no message back if he's got his prize or not. I've not done a competition for this week, John. I just left it. Didn't have the time, so we're just going to have to do that for next week. But he never left a comment, John, if he's got his prize or not. The boy lives in Ireland. But in saying that, I've not checked Instagram in about 4 days, so maybe he has left a comment.
Aye. I say the things that go to Ireland, it's a bit more difficult to get it on time. Sometimes it can take a long time for the prizes to get to Ireland, so you're just going to wait if you haven't got it yet.
Yeah, that's it, John. That's it. So I think he will have got it, but we'll do a competition tomorrow for next week. We're not going about that just now. We'll mention that tomorrow on the post-match, John, if you don't mind. Does that wrap the comments up then, John?
That's it, Xander. Thanks to everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, as John says, thank you, everybody. Great comments. Thanks for reading them out as well, John. It's appreciated. A lot of good comments there, weren't there, John? A lot of things to talk about.
There's always something to talk about, Xander, no matter what. Somebody will always leave a good comment and it gives us something to talk about. That's why we like reading out the comments, because it does, a lot of people bring up some good points. Mm-hmm. And we spent, I don't know how long talking about comments there, 20 minutes or whatever. So it's always good to read what the people think. And like we says earlier, just let us know what you think about anything, or your favourite food and all that, because we'll read that out as well.
Yeah, that's it, Jim. Yeah, there's no limits, no borders, no nothing. Just get your comments in, anything, and we'll always try and read them out. All right, John, that was quite a bit going through the comments. A lot to talk about there. So Hibs Celtic on Sunday. Post match for that will be tomorrow after the game, probably about 4 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock, depending on what's happening. But there'll be a post match podcast on Sunday, so look out for that. Thank you to John for reading out all the comments. Remember, hit that like and subscribe button as well if you don't mind. And we'll catch you all for the post match on Sunday. Good luck to Celtic against Hibs. Going to be a good game. Looking forward to it. All we can say is good luck to Celtic, John.
That's all we can say. Good luck, Celtic. Let's hope it's a good one, and everybody take a jacket with them in case you get drenched.
Right, John, cheers for that. Hail, hail. We'll catch you all tomorrow.
Hail, hail, Xander. Speak to you later, mate.